Hello, everybody. My name is Will Holt, and you, for some stupid fucking reason, are tuned in to the OSG Podcast here on March 31st, Transgender Day of Visibility. And as Ford Truck Month Jake breaks itself to a close, we at the OSG Podcast have a treat for you. We have a special guest, goes by the name of Jebrim. Jebrim, would you say hello?
Howdy, y'all.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hello, Jebrim.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm just fucking chilling here, I'm ready to
Why
film.
don't you fucking let
Thanks,
Will finish with the intro before you start trying to hold a fucking conversation?
Yeah, okay, well, just who else is in here? Say hello from top to bottom. Just say hi.
Hey, it's Cyan.
Hello, hey, it's HughBMyron.
And then
We're not the same person.
Poopman doesn't have a fucking voice, and it's me. Stay high.
alright, and yeah, we're in here with world famous Rooney player Jebrim. The Texas man.
The legend himself.
The agility guy. That's all the information I got.
The agility god, you mean?
Yeah, I saw some quote that said you claim to have over 16,000 hours of agility training. Is that true?
Yep.
Damn. That's all I gotta say.
How did you not lose it? Like your mind.
It's no different than any other job. I mean, people
What
go
about
out
the
to work.
quote where you agreed that minorities should be rounded up and shot?
That was edited.
Wait, what?
Photoshopped. That was photoshopped.
It was photoshopped.
That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
talking about.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Jebrim is the only one who knew what I was talking about. That's it.
You never provided me a screenshot? I want to see this photoshopped word.
I don't know. You can find it scrolling
Just
up.
yeah, just find it yourself.
Alright.
So Jebrim, what's it like being a living legend? Is it cool?
I guess.
Well, you know that screenshot where you were talking with Mod, which
West?
Mod was it? Yeah, Mod West, where he was like, we'd expect nothing less from the likes of you.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Why was he
Jebrim.
so snide?
Well, various J-mods have their opinion on me, so it is what it is.
Well, you have
Damn.
your opinion on various J-mods, don't you? So.
Honestly, I don't know
pretty
anything
fair.
about. I don't know anything about Mod West other than that they're an artist and.
His
And that
art
his
sucks.
art fucking sucked dick.
Well, you gotta understand. My background was in 3D graphics programming, so I've done work in that regard. So I would actually write code to support artists, and
And he
so I
had a
would
firm
write
understanding of
various
what
to-
he was capable of doing and where he's lacking.
And there's various tools, and one of his limitations though is the engine. So he can make some kind of he can make some nicer art, but then in a way, the engine would just dumb it down and make it look worse than what his original source art was. So. There is some truth to what he was saying too.
I don't know.
Why don't
Alright.
you apply to work at RuneScape? Eh? Get in there,
Why
whip them
would
into
I-
shape.
Why would I live in Britain? I mean,
Yeah, that's
I would never want to
terrible.
live there.
Oh, well, you could, like, save those people. You could bring a little Texas culture and...
Nah, England's already
Nah.
lost.
No, they're done.
Lost multicultural.
I'm not leaving Texas. So
Fair enough.
How,
Fair
how,
enough.
how are they lost to multicultural? What do you mean?
yeah, they're the last. Where are you guys all from?
I'm from
Alabama.
Alabama.
I love how he naturally just completely ignored Stay High's place.
Western- Hey man, that's life at the podcast.
Yeah, half of us are from Alabama.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys
Western
know each other
Canada.
in real life?
So we
Yeah,
what?
that's awesome. Half of us
Do
are
you
actually
know each
from
other in
Alabama.
real life?
No.
Oh, no.
Man,
You're from
I'm gonna lie
Alabama,
that.
but you never met up?
Well, it's a big state.
He was born in
No,
Alabama.
it's not.
He's in South America, right?
No, I wasn't born in Alabama. I was born in South America, raised in Alabama, and now I'm back in South America.
So you're a foreigner.
Yeah.
He's a foreigner. Well, he's not
Foreigner.
anymore. He's
I
back
didn't feel
home, right? You're not a foreigner anymore.
Would you keep Hugh out if it was in your power, Jeb?
Yeah, the way you said so you're a foreigner.
Yeah.
Heavy
It's like
words.
Jebrim thought he was
You
friendly
honestly,
on
you're kind of
Travis's
the
podcast.
epitome of what Jeb hates. You're a
Right.
foreigner.
No, I'm sure if Jeb and I talked about it, we'd have a lot in common.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure
mean, I
there's
was
a lot
minor,
of like.
Well, let's air it out.
I mean, and,
Yeah,
okay,
and I was a
Tom.
What
minor.
country-
I was a
wait,
minor my entire time over there, so I had no idea
What country? What country are you from?
Peru.
Peru. Okay, that
Yeah.
explains Peruvian Chinese food you were mentioning earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
And are you Catholic?
No, Christian, Southern Baptist.
Okay. Is
We
that a
completely-
troll comment or are you serious?
Huh?
So I wasn't sure. Was that a troll comment or were you actually serious? I can't tell if you.
No, I'm serious. Like we
Okay,
really
okay.
assimilated to Southern.
That's
living.
good. That's good. No. Okay, then I would be happy to bring you up.
There's some
Yeah.
other interesting facts about Hugh that you might not agree with, but
Okay, well,
I'll leave
yeah,
that
no,
to
then-
you.
Well, let's
Well,
introduce
actually,
him.
maybe you should have let me on some of these, so maybe I might change my mind. Maybe.
Okay, sure. So you've got he's a hard worker. All right, he's from South America. He's assimilated
Yep.
to Southern culture. He's a good Southern Baptist man.
Is he a
he-
law-abiding citizen?
Well,
He fucks trannies.
Is he law-abiding?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Uh-oh.
I mean,
Well,
usually.
I mean,
most
I've
of the time.
abided most laws.
Who fully abides all laws? To be honest,
Mm,
I've never broken a law.
you've probably broken 2 laws today, bro. Just
I haven't got out of bed today.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what about looking at fucking naughty images on your fucking phone?
well,
One, I didn't do that, and two, that's not illegal. What's wrong with you?
it is when it's child porn.
Yeah, if it was a certain age, it would have been.
is that what you're implying? Say
Yeah.
hi.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm implying.
Case of
Okay.
investigation by a federal entity.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know
So,
anything.
I don't affiliate with any of these people.
I don't
Yep.
either. I've never met these people.
I don't
in real
know
life, like
who
I
these
said.
people
This is
are
like
in
a
this group.
joke
I have
and a
no
meme.
affiliation with them.
Will Holt is a character I created to do a social case study. None of what I say is real.
I'm just deep into roleplay right now. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I got a question. I got a question for Jeb.
All right, what's up?
What's the most significant impact that your insignificant fame or niche fame has had on your life?
There seems to be a little bit of an insult in there.
No, what I think he's
No,
trying
no,
to say.
no.
He used insignificant, but niche is the better word. Like, how is it?
Yeah,
Has your
niche
niche
was the
fame
better word. Yeah.
has
Yeah.
it boiled over into like your real life?
I
At
have
all?
I have met people that they're like, "Yo, Jebrim," just from looking at me and talk to me.
That's awesome.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
so,
How'd
yeah.
you feel? That's sick.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's like, oh, you made it finally.
Wait, you said Ice Poseidon was fanboying you hard. How was that?
Yeah.
What was he doing to fanboy you?
Oh, he
So
like
you
I pulled up. I don't know if you watched the video, but I pulled
Mhm.
up. And then he mentioned a tweet I had done earlier, and then I pulled in. And when I came out, I was talking to Voldasad for a bit. So Voldasad was kind of saying you first, and then that wasn't really on stream. And then Ice comes over, and starts asking me about my agility and all that stuff, and then afterwards he was talking. When we were walking away, and they walked away on camera. They were talking about RuneScape celebrities and all that stuff, and then he confused me with like Links Titans, Reddit, Ask Me Anything or something. I don't know.
God damn
He
it.
thought that anime was from me, but it was actually from. And he associated that with me. I don't know. But the thing is, like Ice, I never even heard of Ice until like maybe a year or two ago, a couple of years ago, and then he wasn't really someone I even followed until maybe like a few months ago. I like just watched some videos, and clips, and so I know he's heard of me. Like he's been playing RuneScape for a long time. I was ranked 1 overall back when he was like a noob and nobody. So I'm someone he's known for a long time. And it's kind of interesting. I do like he's got a big base on. Like he blew off fast. He's got 800,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, I used to watch that
I know.
motherfucker when he played RuneScape.
Same.
So what? He just like streams his life all day.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was going to be streaming. I just I was heading down there. Voldasad. Basically, I saw some people on Reddit show a screenshot of Voldasad say something on Twitter about their vehicle. So I was like, okay, so Voldasad's with them. I don't know anything about Voldasad either, but I messaged a guy on Twitter asking where he's at because I knew they were all in Dallas, and apparently they were still in town and they were at a Whataburger, so I drove on down there. But he said they might not be there by the time I got there, and they're heading downtown. So I just kept on going downtown, and then suddenly the stream comes up.
Did y'all hang out in private later on?
No, but I was intending on just meeting him in private. Then they did the stream, and I was like, okay, well, might as well say hi to everybody.
Yeah.
Did you
Now-
go
now-
ahead and grab some Whataburger after all that?
What did you say?
Have some Whataburger after all that?
No.
Did you
Oh,
say
damn.
water?
I actually no. I had to go. After that, so basically, I was
Is
there.
he still
and
in
then I
Texas right now?
left. I don't know. He might be in El Paso. He might be in New Mexico. I
So
don't know.
Jebrim, you end up, just for instance, you end up hanging out with them after. You climb up into their Ford Raptor, and you're sitting in the middle seat, ice
Yeah,
to
they
the
have a
left,
Ford Raptor?
big black guy to the right, who you don't know. They pull out a spliff, a boof, a little joint. Are you like calling the police in the car with them, or are you like trying to play it cool?
So the way I go about things in my life, one, I don't ever let anybody drive me. I drive myself, so I'm always.
Or
Smart.
Wait, you never let anyone else drive you?
I do not let anyone else drive me. I had this one incident.
That's pretty
years
smart.
ago. I
What
went with
about
my
your
brother.
girlfriend?
I went with my brother on onto his military base, and so he was driving me there. Then I got stuck there doing whatever event they were doing, and I wanted to leave. It was pretty hot out, and I was bored. I wanted to leave. I can't do anything on my own demand. Go where I want, when I want, if I'm dependent on somebody else to drive me. So after that incident, it just caused some fight with my brother. I was just like, I'm never gonna accept the ride from someone else. I'm just gonna drive myself there.
How
So
long
that's
has
my
it been?
process.
Yeah.
So if I were to do something with ice or whatever, it would be I'm driving in my vehicle. He's next to me. He doesn't have a million other people with him, and it'd just be maybe one-on-one, or maybe just one person back, and then we'll talk, and maybe I'll be packing heat or whatever. Just
Packing
Yeah.
heat. What do you got?
Jebrim, do you not always carry?
I cannot comment
Okay.
on whether I
That's
am carrying or
understandable.
not.
Yeah, that's completely understandable.
Well, I think if you're around those type of people, it's
Yes.
definitely smart to
You gotta be.
keep
Around
that
those
thing
people.
on you.
Yeah, having strangers in your car, that might be a good time.
Yeah.
to have it.
And Ice is a bit like, I mean, he's somebody who does some illegal stuff, and he's somebody who would he'll
Sure.
sexually assault you and all that stuff. So you got to be kind of careful. Around it.
You think he'd sexually assault you?
Well, maybe not.
I mean,
me,
there's a
but
chance.
it's done
Jeb's
other
not
people,
wrong.
so. And it's
I mean,
possible, in the video I record, because I put it on my YouTube. I recorded or I added to the recording like the next couple of minutes after they left because they were talking about me. So one of the people, the butler dude, was saying, "Oh, we should get him high and stick him in the edible and all that stuff." And I was like, "Oh, we can't do that. We can't drug people." The reality that they tried to drug me against my will, that's poison.
what
If
the
it's against
fuck?
my will, that's poisoning. That's an assault. That's
Yeah,
something to
goddamn.
get arrested for. And quite honestly, like if they were trying to if they had pot in their hand or just a blunt or something and they smoked and then walking up to me and blowing in my face and all this stuff, I would pull out my gun and I would put them on the floor, on the ground.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna put up-
based,
I'm not
honestly.
gonna put up that shit. So no, they're going on the ground.
Yeah,
I'm
that
calling
was
the- I'm
my
calling the
concern
cops.
was like, or my question, not concern, was like, were they to like whip out the weed in front of you? Would you call the cops
Yeah.
while they were there,
Yeah,
or
but
would you like play it cool and then go back to the car?
But I would never
end
put
up shooting
myself
the black guy, right?
I would never put myself in a position where I'm vulnerable
to them attacking me or doing something that I don't approve of them. I don't want to be around, and them forcing it on me anyways. So I don't want to. I would never be in a position that I would let myself be vulnerable like that. So
Oh, fair strokes, mate. That sounds all reasonable.
Oh yeah.
What's the deal with? So they just like streamed their whole lives. I assume they were. It was
they're
like
low lives, honestly.
I think
they're
they-
it
low
was
lives.
like very apparent they were in Texas where it's not legal, and I assume they smoked deboof.
Yeah, he goes on road trips like every 3 months across the country.
I'm sure they were doing it off camera.
Okay.
I'm sure they were doing it off
Sometimes
camera.
it's on camera and they'll just say that it's not weed.
Oh, say do the old Joe Rogan. This is tobacco.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll do that
That's
sometimes.
why I want to ban vaping, because vaping is just an excuse to kind of hide
Well,
marijuana.
vaping's just like. I'll say it's just gay. Like I'm not
Yeah.
smart enough to argue about like the health side of it or anything.
Listen, I
It's
don't
just-
care about
it's
the health
gay.
side. It's just they use that to cover up. They put hash oil in there. Saying, oh no, it's just tobacco. It's just tobacco.
Vaping
Yeah.
is just worse because it's addicting teens to nicotine so bad.
And then you have all these vape shops everywhere. I don't like them.
I don't know how those things stay open.
I want to shut them down. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Jebrim,
got
do you
some
do
weird locations.
Jebrim, do you fuck ever?
Abstinence until marriage. In fact, I'm not even a big fan of the profanity.
Okay, I can dial back on that.
Mhm.
But yeah, fair. That's kind of what I assumed.
Yeah,
Big
if you're
marriage guy.
honestly if you're Southern Baptist, you should be really consistent on that.
Yep.
Yeah, it is kind of cut and dry there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Check the Discord.
Hmm.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah. Well. So
I like Twitter. I'll tell you that much.
subject change. What's the deal with this? What's the deal with this dead man mode thing? What happened? Anybody?
You know, I didn't even watch it.
Oh, the recent
I just heard about it.
I just heard like
What
Like-
you?
everyone died or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So
It's
the way
on everybody.
No, they just farted on fucking everyone's face.
Oh, okay.
I think the issue was that some developer didn't, like, you have the 9x9 or 12. I don't know how big the square is, but you have this big square that everybody's located in, and then everywhere else is fog. And I guess the developer who set that up didn't defog the actual the 1v1 tournament location. So
Yeah,
everybody
so
gets
the top
teleported
300
there, then
people
they get
just died.
killed because somebody forgot to make that non-fog. So and then it was made even worse because Jagex, they had it set up so that I'm trying to think what it's. When you die, your stats get automatically reset so that you're ready for the next season, and they don't keep a backup
Oh my
of
god.
what your stats were.
Oh, wow.
So what happened is everybody's, as soon as they die during that finite hour and they're forced to log out, the code in there deletes their entire account status. So
Okay.
there was no way for Jagex to roll it back and recover the data.
So what happened?
So pretty much everyone got reset to level 94. They claim that people who survived would keep their stats and get just a base 94. I don't know if there were any survivors. I didn't hear about that. But and then I heard something else that only half of the people were able to actually
Yeah, I saw
be
something
able to
like
get
that.
in or something.
They were
I don't
saying
know.
Mod Ash was doing it hand by hand, one by one, like
Hmm.
re-adding people.
What a
and
fucking
it's like,
joke.
And it's like, how the fuck is this seriously like your event?
Yeah, it needs to end. They need to just stop
They
Dead
need
Man
to
mode.
just-
It's just
They need to
embarrassing.
start doing competitive Castle Wars.
It's already been a joke
Should
for
be
so
the
long.
esport.
So did you guys play Deadman or?
No, I'm not
No,
gonna waste my
I
time
don't-
on something that
I
doesn't.
actually won the first tournament. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
won the first
I
one.
remember that.
Who's speaking?
You.
You won the first tournament?
Yeah.
Oh, the first. I'm trying to remember who won the first. I don't
He's,
remember.
he's part of.
It was
He's
me.
part of
Hugh.
Rod.
It
Yeah.
was Hugh.
What was the
HughBMyron.
name of your account at the time?
HughBMyron.
It was actually Hugh. Okay, I don't know. I don't remember.
This doesn't sound serious. Fuck. Yeah, fuck off you.
What's the deal with that Andrew Yang fella? What's he up to? What's he doing?
Hey,
Oh,
Matt.
before we go into that, I got a different political question.
Sure.
Jeb, if there was a political candidate who like matched all of your views except one, he wanted to legalize weed,
No.
would you vote no? So it's a no. It's a hard no.
I've actually told Texas legislators.
But I mean, like literally every.
I've told you. So what I'm telling you is what I've told them is that I can like every single other thing that they have perfectly, and like we can match perfectly. But if they support legalizing marijuana, I can't vote for them. I can't support them. I'm gonna.
Damn. Even if
support
he had a
someone else, yes.
guaranteed
What?
way of keeping them out.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's one of the biggest reasons why I moved here, is to get away from all that.
What's the reasoning behind that? Is it just a cultural landslide for you that just like?
That's
Don't
one of it.
really-
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't want my neighbors to be smoking pot, and I want to be able to do something. So.
Don't you think this whole pot thing is the exact same as alcohol like 100 years ago? Like,
Yeah, like the prohibition.
isn't it the exact same thing going on? Don't you think? I don't understand that.
There's a couple differences, but no,
Do you abstain from alcohol as well?
I don't even oppose the prohibition. Yeah, I abstain from. I don't drink. But there's dry counties. There's places where it's illegal to buy alcohol in certain
You know the
hours,
county.
certain counties, certain locations, certain towns.
The county where Jack Daniels is made in Tennessee is a dry county.
Yeah, it's like
Really?
What?
Yeah.
it's like prohibition was about a national, like doing it nationally. But even without the whole prohibition, even without that, there's still local areas where it's illegal.
Yeah.
So I don't oppose any laws. If people want to advocate for laws to ban alcohol, anything, I'll back that. But my issue is that there is right now an active political movement to legalize marijuana. It is a very full thing that they're pushing out there. They're very loud people, and they need some. So I'm just part of that opposition. I'm saying something that a lot of people in our generation especially are not willing to say, and if somebody in our generation doesn't say it, then
But how come your stance on alcohol isn't as strong? That's what I don't
because
understand.
it's not as much of a political issue. It's not really that big of a thing. The other thing, it's not airborne, so like marijuana
not terrible?
can affect me.
Airborne, he said.
Airborne.
Oh.
It doesn't affect me as much when you're drinking compared to if you're next to me and you're smoking a blunt. That affects me a whole lot more.
Now, what about issues of like?
But so you
Like
would
if-
remove everything. It's not just
Okay,
weed, you're
yeah,
saying.
just talk over me.
Well, like obviously you mean Jebrim too. Like you don't approve of cigarettes then either, because that's also airborne.
Yeah.
So
and
you would just-
my mom smoked, and I would always argue with her when I was a kid. I didn't want to be around her when she was smoking.
Yeah, I used to tell my mom that cigarettes are fucking gross.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Will.
Shit, I forgot. Cigarettes are cool though, aren't they?
They kind of look cool in movies, yeah. Fuck. I can see how a whole generation got addicted to them.
You know, actually, oddly enough, cigarettes are the one thing I'm not at. Like vaping, I have a problem with, but like cigarettes are, I don't know, I'm weird on that because it doesn't get you high, it doesn't mess with your brain, and the biggest thing I have is anything that messes with your brain. So I have a problem with painkillers. I mean, I have a problem with anything that's like psychoactive that makes you lose your kind of sober state of mind.
Yeah.
So cigarettes, as addictive as they are, as bad as they are for your lungs, I actually have less of an issue with that, just because it's not really messing with your head, like a lot of the other things.
And they give you like a little buzz, don't they?
Yeah, nicotine high. It's not too intense.
Yeah, but that's like
more of a body. It's more of a
I
body.
definitely wouldn't say it's like altering or anything.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd never smoked, so.
Jebrim, what's your
There-
stance on circumcision? Should it be outlawed?
I wouldn't say outlawed, but I'm not a big fan of having it as a general
Done to
practice.
children?
Do you think it's a violation of like birth rights? Do you think it's a violation
Yeah.
of that?
I don't know. I'm just saying I would not circumcise my children.
I don't think I would either.
Yeah. Same.
I honestly don't even know why it happens.
I don't know. I'm
Abraham.
circumcised.
Tradition. It's just tradition.
But you guys are circumcised, right?
I
Yeah.
am,
Yep.
I'm not.
I mean, we're from Alabama, so.
I mean, I sure didn't like ask for it though, you know.
Right.
Well, like, it's weird. My brother wasn't circumcised, and I was. And my mom, like, told... And I asked my mom why, and
Your
she
mom's
just
like,
told
oh,
me...
fuck.
No, she just
Fucking
told me
hates
the
you.
doctor, like, told her, like, you should circumcise him, like, it's a lot safer. So she just
She
did.
saw what
like,
it did to you, and she's like, I ain't doing that to him.
Yeah,
How
like,
is it
she...
safer?
I don't know, like, cleanliness or something. Like, the doctor...
Yeah, it's
Like,
just-
no, my mom's
Yeah,
an
That's
idiot.
exactly what my doctor
No.
told my mom.
It's
Yeah,
it's
my
really a
mom's
bunch
an
of
idiot.
BS, yeah.
Yeah, my mom's an idiot, so she's
Okay,
like,
well,
oh,
let's
that's
not
true.
disrespect your mother.
So she just,
Your mom's
like,
pretty
cut,
cool.
cut my dick tip off, like... She was just like, sure, that makes sense, and just did it. Didn't even think about it. She's like, sure, like...
You know, and the other problem with is that a lot of women out there, they're so used to being with guys that have it cut that
Yeah.
they think it looks weird if it's not, and so they don't want their kid to be like ostracized by women or something. That's their rationale. I don't
makes
know.
It's part of our culture, but I feel like it's something we're moving away from slowly.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are, just
I
because
remember-
everyone fucking hates the Jews. Like, that's just another reason to hate it.
No, I don't.
Well,
I
maybe
remember
you
in
don't.
fifth
Th- th- This again for the FBI listening. I do not associate with these people.
You specifically told us to set aside a time for you to pee.
Oh, sorry. Well, like, I'm not saying Jebrim hates Jews, but, like, a lot of people publicly
Just
hate
the
Jews.
culture.
Just a lot of people publicly hate Jews, and that's just, yeah, like, that's just true. That's not... It's not
I feel
my
like I
opinion.
say this once an episode, but like the day we all go to court and they have to play every episode of this shitty show, like out to the courtroom, that's gonna be just so funny.
I'm gonna be hyped when our fucking viewer count goes up. They'll be sick.
Yeah.
It's
gonna
most
love it
likely
when-
what happened to me is the worst fucking thing.
What
Yeah.
happened to you?
I was looking at the YouTube channel for this. You don't get very many viewers. Like it's only
No.
a couple hundred.
It's
That's
mostly
just-
just for OSG.
I mean, yeah, we literally only advertise
It
in
only...
the thread on 4chan and in the Discord.
Yeah, we just
that's
link it
it.
to the OSG lads. There's no one else. Then we dislike it.
But if you actually compare this to like the actual amount of people that are in the chat, like, there's
Yeah.
always like 100 people. There's always full chat. Even the video views aren't that high.
Yeah.
Well, almost no
It's-
one in
it's
the
relatively
LPC
new as well,
sends
so.
a thread.
I'm not that cool or interesting either, so I bring down the views for sure, and then... Yeah, I don't know.
That
This
is
new
true.
intro, though, it's gonna hype it up. We're gonna get our views skyrocketed.
Yeah, I
Yeah, the
forgot
production
to mention that
values.
after
Oh,
the
this
intro.
one's probably gonna pass my first episode.
The one already passed your first episode. Episode 9 did.
That's pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
See, I feel like with the Jebrim name attached to it, it gives us like license to put it on Reddit.
Nah.
Yeah, it's gonna have some
We'd be like,
content
we
value.
could be like, hey guys, definitely don't upvote this, but I found some weird podcast with Jebrim on it.
Well, there's a problem with that. Is
Jew
that
hate.
one, Reddit hates me.
No, this
Yeah,
Oh,
one,
exactly.
yeah.
They'd watch it just because.
this won't go on Reddit unless some weirdo is like, let's post it to Reddit.
I
And
think
then I
Kelly
think you need a mod to approve
Someone's
Kelly
gonna
any
put it
put it
post
on
on
Reddit
Reddit.
once.
Really?
You need a moderator to approve a post on Reddit.
Then why there's so many shitty fucking posts on Reddit still? Every
I
time I
don't
go
know.
there. Fucking disappointing.
I don't know.
Oh,
Damn, I had
think
a
the
great
biggest-
time. I don't like really understand Reddit too good, but I had a big time looking at that incel selfies one. That was just
Yeah.
fucking
Incel
man alive.
selfies? Was that a
Yeah, it was
subreddit?
just it was just like incels taking selfies
What did
and
it
like
look
You know, when-
doing like tiny little rants about like, oh, why am I single? Oh, I'm gonna kill myself. And it was like, good lord, like sadly, truly some of the most unfortunate looking people I've ever seen
Yeah.
in my life.
Well, how do you think they
But,
become incels? Like, doesn't that literally stand for like involuntary celibate? Like,
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah, based
obviously
on their looks
not
and their personality. It's
looks.
just
I think like genuinely they become obsessed with the idea that they're ugly, and that like destroys their personality slowly.
100%. Yeah.
Because
And,
like
the
I'm looking
lack
at them
of
like,
intimate
come on,
connections
man! Like
because
some of
their
these
ugliness.
people could definitely get like a 3 or a 4 out of 10.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
That's what they don't understand. Like ugly girls be fucking. They're missing out.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
well, yeah. Whenever I see those posts about them trying to get with like girls, they're always like 5 times attractive, like
Yeah.
Exactly.
easily,
So what
like
do you expect?
way out of their league.
Damn, I saw one of them where the guy was like, I sent a selfie of myself to 100 women on Instagram and asked them to rate me, and only one replied, and she threatened to call the police on me.
You know,
I was like, what kind of fucking person does that?
if I actually didn't like talk about all my views on like politics, and I didn't talk about all these social stuff, I'm for like, if I didn't alienate the ethos on
you'd be
community. I mean, I could be picking up all these girls and
100% agree with
all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm so glad you.
It's a big agree from me.
Yeah, but I'm glad you alienated yourself.
No, yeah, the Volcel race is powerful.
I swear to God, I was just thinking about that the other day. Like in fucking RuneScape fame, there's like 3 attractive, confident dudes that probably slay all the pussy.
Yep.
And like nobody else gets any.
Well, who is like the girl RuneScape
What would that be?
crowd?
Who would that be?
r/RuneScape gone wild.
Oh yeah, those are all fake, aren't they?
I don't know.
Bodhi
It's like
definitely slays.
I feel like it's just a
Mammal.
guy who's got a hot girlfriend and is
Wait.
just like,
Say that
hey,
again.
Casually
take this
plays.
picture.
Yeah, casually plays RuneScape.
That's
Yeah.
probably it. And then dudes who get their girlfriends on it or whatever.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of thoughts on Twitter though that are mostly
the,
RS3 though.
The agility community back in the old days. If you look at like, I'm going to call it RuneScape 3, it was RuneScape 2 at the time, but the first 10 people to 200 mil agility, 5 of them were girls.
Damn.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
And of them,
Is that girls in quotes or?
Like
they're
biological
they're actual
female.
girls, and three of the girls had dated one or more of the other guys in the top 10. So,
How do you date someone like date or like date?
I dated 2, and Obey the Cow ended up with Suomi, and I ended up with Revan Lives for a little bit, and then Squish, who I lived with was.
RS2 agility people would be wild.
Did you ever have
Yeah,
sex?
apparently.
That's what I'm saying. Like everybody be fucking, dude.
Yeah, like did you ever have
It looks
sex?
that way, yeah.
I feel like that has to be a common thing among e-daters. So, I mean, like, what do you, like, you can't go and
Mutual
meet each other.
masturbation.
Yeah. Well, I had a friend whose girlfriend, like, moved to, I think I said that, I don't know if it was on podcast, but, like, my friend had a girlfriend move to the USA, and they, like, mutual masturbated, like, all the time on Skype, and, like, he...
That was Suomi and Obey the Cow.
Yeah, they did do that? Fucking
Oh, yeah.
gross fucks.
Yeah, that's strange, I think.
I wonder,
For me.
like, if they alternated camera angles, like, that's how they spice up their sex life, like...
I don't know, dude. I used to be on Snapchat. Snapchat fucking like just sending videos back and forth.
Well, yeah, I do
mean,
that, but I don't have an e-relationship.
But having like a live feed back and forth
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
is
Man.
strange. Puts
Yeah,
like
because the
pressure.
Snapchat you can set up every single one. It's like,
Yeah.
Do you go to church?
Who?
Who are you asking?
Any of you?
I've never been to church. I was not raised religious, and I was never exposed to it.
Well, I'm in
Alabama?
college right now. No, he's in Canada. I'm in college right now, and I used to be able to walk to my church, but they moved it last year, so I just stopped going.
Oh.
Do they have a chapel or some kind of Baptist student ministry or something like that at your college?
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like that. I mean, I just never got involved in it. Kind of keep that sort of thing like within the family. You know, I'm not big on like youth. You know, like Young Life and all that. You know what I'm talking about?
No. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
I don't like a lot of young kids anyways. They're all
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean all the youth
Weirdos.
groups at church?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's like too involved, you know. I just like if I'm gonna go, I just want to go someday.
No, I just don't like the generation.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say the only involvement I had in church was going to youth groups with my friend, and they're actually quite nice. The community is so nice there. I find for the most part.
I don't know. It always came off to me as like cultish.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. I grew up going to church like 4 times a week, and Wednesday night youth night was like my favorite night of the week, dude.
Yeah,
Dang.
youth night was sick. We played all kinds of sports, and I don't know, it's quite a few.
Maybe it
people
was
there.
just like my area growing up was.
Yeah, like ping pong tables and shit. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
could have been, because I went with my one friend, so every time I went, I knew there was at least one person I was cool with.
And I think the whole point is to kind of promote a good Christian culture. You surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, good
Trying to
clean
act-
fun and stuff.
Yeah, and trying to act
Exactly.
good and all that stuff. It just rubs off on you. And
I blame.
Yeah.
so that's just a big reason to go.
Yeah, I blame
Yeah.
all this downside in this terrible culture, like due to the
internet.
rise of atheism and like no one being a part of any communities anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, being in a community is a huge part of it, and
Right.
but the counter side to that is like, were it not for internet communities, I don't think you'd see as many like trannies as you do today.
How is that the counterpart of anything we just said?
Because it's like the plus side of
No,
having a community is like you can have good Christian communities that pull out
And
good
online
positive
one of the
Christian
things-
things.
Well, one of the things is that communities where you still always be local, right? So you,
Yeah.
the
Now
people you
it's
surround
online
yourself
communities.
with. that
And
you
now
got-
you can find a place online to have
Yeah.
like your
deviant
weird thoughts.
Yep.
associations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like catered to.
Yeah, like that fucking.
I'm not claiming to be like worried about
So
trannies
when I
or
have
anything.
kids, I'm going to be homeschooling them, and I'm not going to be letting them on the internet.
Yeah, I don't
They're
think
not
I am
gonna-
either.
When will you allow them internet access? Like at 18?
I mean, they got to be
Or
maybe in the
14?
teens. I mean, just they should know how to use a computer and all that stuff. They should know that stuff.
Honestly,
But
I think
it's
with
gotta
like
be-
how
it's gotta be very filtered, you know.
I straight up
It's gotta
agree
be
with
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My little
I think
sister
with
was
how
like
the
9 years
internet's
old
going.
on her phone all the time and like looking up those dumb YouTube videos. You know those like really retarded videos that you're like, oh, like only kids watch that. Like that's the type
Yeah.
of shit that I like literally
Yeah.
would see on my sister's phone. Like
You know,
Right.
I
I
would.
was like 10 and it's like, what the fuck?
I have a bunch of cousins who were like younger than me and like pretty much literally got raised by an iPad. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
I've seen kids. They 4 or 5 years old. They're cussing and they're dry humping and they're doing weird stuff that no kid should ever be doing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's-
I think
Where were you
It's
watching
because-
kids
because
dry
this
hump?
goes-
it's gonna have like a lot
This
better.
is up in
controls.
and this is a white kid, but up in like a more they're hanging around their brother and other people, and this is an urban environment around just a lot of bad influences, and so they just pick it up, and it's monkey see, monkey do, and their mother isn't really responsible
Yeah.
and just lets them do whatever they want.
Yeah, just as long as they've got that iPad, I don't have to worry about what my kid's doing.
I don't know. That's I think a lot of people did that with TVs back in the day. My mom fucking did that, but I didn't have the internet to like scoundrel over. I just watched Toy Story fucking on repeat.
Right.
But I'd
Bruh.
rather not have them in front of the TV just because of all the Hollywood crap.
Well, yeah,
That's
my
not
mom
these
like
days,
my mom
yeah.
is stupid. Like that's not like you shouldn't
Mhm.
you shouldn't parent the way my mom did. Just to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have a TV anymore. Like I just
I don't do TV. I don't have cable.
Yeah.
I've never purchased cable.
I live
I've
stream
lived-
sports whenever I feel like watching.
I've lived on my
sports.
own for a decade now, and I've never purchased cable.
Oh,
Yeah,
why
I
would
just
you?
don't see the point.
Cable's such a
I haven't
scam.
had cable in about 8 years. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing I do miss about it though was it was always relaxing to like come home from class or work or whatever and just like have Sports
Yeah,
Center
that's
on really low volume.
Yeah. I like if
That's
I could pay
something.
for Sportsnet or like just a couple sports channels for like $10 a month, like I might do that, but I'm not gonna pay the
Mhm.
ridiculous price of cable that a bunch of shit I never watch or use.
Yeah.
I would always just have the flashback button, you know, the last channel button between NFL Network and Sports.
Yeah.
Yep.
hmm Yeah, I'd be
Dang.
switching it between TSN and Sportsnet. The only like two ones that we ever use for hockey.
What does TSN stand for? Toronto?
Just stands for the Sports Network.
Oh, the Sports Network.
Yeah, I think.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure. I don't really actually know. I heard that once and it made sense to me. So.
That's the way it be. What?
Pardon?
For every time something was wrong at the house, my mom or dad would call somebody from church to come fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Oh yeah.
They didn't know how to fix their own household problems.
Bro, that's
No,
not the
it-
point of the fucking
It's
story.
not the point. Yeah, God, you're so fucking stupid.
I just joke.
Alright, anyway, what's the deal with this Andrew Yang fella? Huh? I bet Jebrim has some good insights.
He's the Yang Yang guy. He's a socialist, though.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Universal basic income. That's a socialist program.
That's not even. Is it though?
It really is,
Doesn't
yeah.
Andrew Yang
Yeah.
just want to give like $1,000 to everyone that's like in need or something?
Yeah.
He wants a universal basic income of $1,000 a month, which is it's going to be paid for by cutting back on like social programs. Which, like, it says that on his website.
Finland tried it. It didn't work. They went bankrupt. They ended their test program, so it didn't
What
work.
did you say he's cutting from specifically? Just social programs?
Can you actually? No.
Or-
Can you honestly imagine that? Oh, we're gonna cut back. We're gonna get rid of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all this stuff, and we're gonna give everybody.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Nobody's gonna support that. And then,
I
honestly,
think people would
the federal-
support. I think
no,
people would rather have $1,000 cash.
It's such a instantly gratificatory.
become.
No, exactly, but that's
It
like
would become.
in economics you like learn people are reasonable, but I don't think that's
No,
true.
what it would become is that
100% rather just have $1,000.
people have special interests. There's a lot of special interests out there, right? So there's
Yep.
a lot of medical companies. Whoever benefits from Medicare, if they're getting more than 1,000, they don't want to see that cut. They don't want to see that cut. And
yeah.
so they're like, oh, we don't support this, and then the other people that get maybe food stamps, they get a bunch of that. Oh, we won't support that, and this and that, and they'll just all come out of the woodwork, and it'll just turn into a program. Oh, okay, fine. We won't cut back on what we're giving you already. We'll just add as an additional welfare, and then you'll see kind of where that becomes.
Now, what about the idea of like taking all that foreign aid we send to Israel every year, instead giving that
You mean our greatest ally?
as a universal basic income? I saw that point
That's an
argued.
insignificant amount of money that we send Israel.
Yeah.
How much UBI would
Isn't
cost?
like a couple $100 billion or something? I don't know.
No,
Listen,
what we send to
whatever
Israel
it
is small
it's not
compared
enough.
to. Yeah, it's very
Oh.
small.
Why
Now, what if
does
I
the
could?
US
What if I
you
could
know-
get like $50 a month instead of sending money to Israel? I'd definitely rather have $50 a month. You know.
I'd rather have that ally though.
I
Yeah,
stand
I'm not trying to have a.
Then they go
I
and
stand
bomb
with
us.
Israel.
I honestly, if I could get
I stand
$1
with
out of
my
it,
stand.
I don't care what it is. I'm voting for it.
Google
I stand
your
with my
security
stand.
incident.
If I could get $1.
Yeah, I'm a one-issue voter. Whoever gives me $1.
I hate
This
one
is
My
all
issue is $1.
Dude, one
Goddamn.
issue voters ruin Canada's economy, bro.
Yeah, because their
fucking-
one issue was who's more attractive, and it was.
No, it was who's legalizing weed, and then they voted in Trudeau, who like is the most incompetent retard I've ever met in my life.
Those pictures of Justin Trudeau, like fucking.
I
yelling
hate
at a
that guy
Muslim
so
prayer.
fucking
Yeah,
He's
goddamn.
such a fucking multiculturalist cuck. Like you don't have to have sex with every
I've never
fucking
seen.
religion.
I've never seen such a boy.
Spineless.
As a leader,
fucking
as
Yeah.
a leader of a
Yeah.
country, I've never seen somebody that looks such.
Didn't he get Me Too'd recently?
Me
don't
too.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he did, and nothing happened.
Can you
Right,
show me a picture?
because-
What, they just didn't care?
Yeah, he's just their guy. They just don't
Yeah.
care. He
Damn.
can do no wrong. He can do no wrong.
I
As
guess
long as he hangs
it'd
out with
be
some
that
drag
way.
queens, he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's.
What's the deal with drag queens? They're kind of gross.
Deviants.
I just want to put 2 into his fucking skull, I swear to God.
Jeb, how do you feel about that
Oh.
social program where they would give like $100 to everyone that can only be used towards political campaigns? Like you have a
Well, what they had happened was that they had a tax credit where you can contribute $50 to any campaign. and
Right, that's
then
what it
you
was.
You file your tax return, and then you can just say, "Oh, I made a political contribution."
is that a
And-
socialist program that you're okay with, or is that?
That's not even a social program. That's just your own money. You're just
It is.
that's
yeah,
just
you're
you pay
taxes.
$50 for a political campaign, and you get to reduce $50 from your tax bill. So
Are you
it's not
for that or against it? Because I think it would.
I've got no problem with that.
Lopsided.
I think anything. To make
I
more
don't see.
people
I don't
vote.
see how. I don't see how it's controversial. Now, if you made a huge amount, then it could be controversial. But $50, it's not.
Jebrim, do you think the world is going to shit, or do you think it's still savable?
I don't care about the rest of the world. Like,
I mean, yeah, like your world, like America.
Yeah.
no. I said I don't care about that. I care about that.
Right, but like,
how's Texas doing?
Like, do you
we're
think?
doing fine. I think there's a lot of things we're working on to help improve the state, but we're doing, I think, a lot better than a lot of other states.
Yeah, I think a lot of the issues are sensationalized. Definitely, like I definitely don't think that people care as much about like any of the shit that you see on the news.
Well, the
as
problem
much
with the
as it
news, it's all
seems.
federal stuff. It's all DC stuff, and I'm very involved in state politics.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of getting things done
Yeah.
through the state. We're trying to get property taxes reformed and managing that. The way things are in Texas is the locals are all liberal.
More satisfying.
All of the local governments are liberal. Very, very few exceptions. And the thing with Texas is that the larger you get in terms of geographic,
The more
area,
liberal.
the more conservative it gets.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So local is all the cities. That's where it's more dense and all that kind of stuff. So all the liberals run that. They rack up debt and all this stuff. They spend a bunch to raise property taxes, and the state's mostly funded with the sales tax. And basically, as you go up in the larger district, a House district is smaller than the Senate district. The House is liberal than the Senate, but because the Senate districts are, they tend to be more conservative. And then you go to the every state office. Most of the state offices are more conservative than anything else below it. And so what we try to do is we try to use state preemption, since the source of all local governments have no power. They have no sovereignty other than what the state grants it. So the state controls everything. If local governments wants to pass something liberal and some liberal ordinance or whatever, the state can come in and override it, and that's what we do. So we try to use the state government as much as possible. And what we're doing now, one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to limit the growth of property tax. You'll have appraisals go up, and they go up a lot. The appraisal is ridiculous. What the city councils can set what the tax rate is on that. And so as the appraisals go up, a lot of these will say, oh, we haven't raised taxes because we haven't raised the tax rate. But since the appraisal went up, your tax might have gone up a good 6%, 8%, 10% in the past year. That adds up each year. And so what we would like them to do is lower the tax every time those appraisals go up, so that at most your taxable only goes up by 2.5%. And if it goes up by more, you have to have an election and have the voters approve that tax increase. So that's what we're trying to fight for right now. That tax reform, that's the same tax reform. What we want to do is we want to get rid of all the property taxes and replace it with sales or consumption, and that would be a lot better. And so that's what we're. That's our long goal. Whether we can get that through or not is debatable, but that's what we're trying to do. And we're just trying to. We want to end Robin Hood. So there's this stupid system where any county or not county, any school district that is labeled as this is a high income area, they take that money from there and they redistribute it to poor ones elsewhere in the state. And stupid system that we've been trying to get rid of for a while, and just kind of not have all that wealth redistribution. And the weird thing is, it's not even just like you can have poor towns, like the residents could be poor, but they could have like a lot of rich oil refineries there, bringing in a lot of money. You have airport that brings in a lot, and that'll actually raise the value of that as rubber. So you could be in this poor community, and you'll still be treated as a rich one, and it'll redistribute that money elsewhere.
Huh.
Damn, do you see yourself going into politics, Jebrim?
Huh?
Do you see yourself actually running for political, I don't know, like...
I've already...
Oh, yeah.
I was elected up in Oregon as a precinct committee person, which is very, very... Like, basically, it just means I represent my precinct as one of... on a supposedly council or something, but I was like one of the only ones there. There's a lot of empty seats that never got filled. But I represent my political party, the Republican Party, for that precinct. A precinct is basically your little neighborhood. So this is your neighborhood. And I got to vote on the delegates that went to the Republican National Convention. So I attended the Oregon State and State District and County Conventions. You got to vote for a specific delegate. And then I got to vote on some party issues. And that was the first thing I did. And then after all of that, on a regular basis, maybe like once a month, I would attend local county meetings. We'd vote on just party business and that kind of thing. So for my county, there were, I think, like 56 elected PCPs. And then we are the only ones allowed to vote on any of these party matters. And a lot of the PCPs, too, were politicians that had been elected into some other office as well, too. So there's this whole structure, and every state kind of runs it differently. Like down here in Texas, they don't have PCPs; they just have precinct chairs, and so there's one guy per precinct, or gal.
Neat. You know.
Well, that's a bit of insight.
Yeah.
And then, but I haven't been elected down here in Texas. I'm probably not going to run. I would never run for anything big. I would never
like
run
nothing
for
public.
DC. I got too many skeletons out there, you know? I mean, if I ran for office, I mean, the media would be coming down and trying to find all my hate.
Yeah.
You think they're going to bring up that cut wrists post?
You know, I
probably
actually
not that, but they'll bring up a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff.
I actually tried to look at your Twitter.
I have a lot of freedom right now and be able to say what's on my mind, what I want.
Right.
Like,
They definitely bring up this one if you were running for anything.
I don't believe
Well,
that,
if they
dude.
can find it, there's just so much stuff out there for me. but
They would definitely
I don't want to be a politician where I'm going to be afraid. Oh, I'm going to lose votes. I potentially say something that could go viral and be very damaging. And so I have to shut up and not say something controversial so that I can get elected. I don't want to be that. I want to be open and say what's on my mind. And I don't want to have to go around and try to delete stuff from the internet that could potentially damage things.
I don't know. I
stuff.
think
I'm not gonna do that.
you're a pretty hardcore man of conviction. I don't think there would be anything that people would be able to say that would make you stop saying things, even if it were
that way.
Well, see, Trump's unique. I know, like Trump can destroy the entire rule book. So I don't know. Maybe I could pull a Trump. But
you a big Trump guy?
I think it's definitely possible. I think people like just.
I was
being
Ted
more
Cruz.
Controversial.
I was all Ted Cruz. I don't like Trump on trade. That was the biggest thing that got me with Trump. But Trump's administration has been way more conservative than I expected. So he's delegated a lot of the decision making and all the details and stuff. He's delegated that to conservatives. And I think Mike Pence has been the kind of leading charge in that. He's gotten a lot of the conservatives into the administration and leading the way on the agenda and all that. So I'm very happy that we have Mike Pence where he's at. So.
I think Mike Pence has been way too passive, honestly.
No, he's the guy behind the scenes who I don't like is Jared Kushner.
Definitely good behind the
and all
scenes,
that
but
stuff. Like Jared and Ivanka, I think they're the ones kind of causing all the negative problems. Or anything I don't like is coming from them.
Yeah, I don't think Mike Pence is causing any negative
Don Jr. is actually, oddly enough, he's kind of turning out to be a good conservative.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised.
I'd like to see, though, like a more active public role from Mike Pence, where...
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing a lot. So, I mean, that would be kind of something I would be... I would be VP. I wouldn't do anything in DC. I would never work in DC. But, like, anything like Texas, I mean, I'd be all down. I mean, I would value being the governor of Texas way more than I would value being president of the United States, quite honestly.
Yeah.
If I was president, I would dismantle the federal government.
Based.
Like if Congress sends all this big spending stuff, right? I would just say, well, I'm not going to spend it. I'm going to reenact presidential impoundment, which was a policy that was all presidents had up until like the 70s, and then that stopped. Impoundment was basically if Congress allocated money to some project, the president can refuse to spend it. And just kind of keep it in the treasury or whatever. So Congress can allocate all this money to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all this stuff. I'm like, I won't spend it.
No, I won't spend it. That's sick.
Honestly, with those programs, what I would want to see happen with them is I want to send them all back to the states, and if the states can want to repeal them, whatever, fine, but get the federal government out of it. So liberal states, they can have all their socialist stuff. Yeah. Just let the red states get rid of them if we want.
Yeah, and that was kind of like how a confederacy was ran.
Yeah. Oh, I support the Confederacy. I would have fought for them.
Really?
And they're talking about saying things that you probably shouldn't say if you want to run for office.
Oh, no, it's fine. There's a lot of people.
No, yeah, a confederacy was an extremely efficient government system. Like slavery or not, you can't argue that it was not
there
efficient.
There are a lot of supporters down here in the South of the Confederacy.
Red pill on the Confederacy. I didn't learn much about the Confederacy.
They actually put in their Constitution. Not many people know this, but they put in their Constitution a total ban on using government for the purposes of benefiting special interests.
Oh, really?
So you can't benefit like the steel industry at the expense of the oil industry, whatever, or doing little things like that which help one industry and hurt another. You can't have protectionism. Where you put tariffs on to prop up the industry. They were very free market, free trade back then in the South.
It was also really localized. Like the issues were more state as opposed to.
And state loyalty. People were more loyal to their state and not the country. It was only until after it was all about the Union. That was what the war was about. It was about the North trying to conquer the South and maintain the Union. And then, because of the war, all this whole national pride came up where they were all focused on the Union.
The Pledge of Allegiance in school started after that. But, yeah, you know, I know a bunch, or not a bunch, but I still know, like, old people from, like, real small southern towns that, like, will still be, like, upset, or not, like, upset, but still have feelings towards Northerners because they, like, burned down Atlanta. And I know we have a monument here on campus at Alabama that has that it was dedicated to when all of the soldiers left to go fight during the Civil War. The North came down and was just gonna like burn the university to the ground. So we had a bunch of like 13 to 16-year-old boys get slaughtered by Northerners.
The whole thing was about the North trying to conquer the South and impose its will on the South, impose its policies on the South. And the whole point of the United States was that we were different sovereign states that are self-governing. The whole point of the American Revolution was to stop a central government. It was in London. Here, now it's in D.C., but it was to stop a central government from telling the local governments, the colonies, how to govern. Because originally, the colonies were set up. They had their own charters. They passed their own legislation. They governed themselves. And then the king came in. It's like, oh no, we're going to revoke your charter. We're going to make our own laws, and Parliament's going to start telling you guys what to do. And they had no representation in Parliament and all this stuff. So that's what kind of sparked the whole American Revolution. And then, well, here's the North saying, oh, we're going to impose our will on the South, and I mean, there was conflicts over tariffs and all this stuff and a lot of other issues, but then the slavery thing came about. But it doesn't matter what the issue is about. Every state is sovereign. Every state can choose to have its own laws, and the other states have no right to tell your state what to do. And that's why the South rose up against them.
Yeah, but then you see YouTube videos by, like, Vice that are like, actually, it was about slavery.
Even if it was about slavery, it doesn't. Constitutionally, it was protected. So slavery can be such a bad, evil system. It doesn't matter. Constitutionally, it was protected. The northern states, the federal government, none of them had any right to tell the southern states what their laws could and could not be.
Yeah.
So
You think we're
Is that
better
how-
off
Is that how
for
that
it?
Civil War started? The northern states were just saying like, you guys.
Yeah, they were just trying to force their will. The whole Republican Party started because of that initially.
Yeah.
It was just honestly, even today, like you see all this fighting between red states and blue states, and it's all just kind of descended around kind of the same boundaries. I mean, you get the blue states up in the northeast there, kind of red states down south, and had the Confederacy just kind of won and been a separate country, a lot of this conflict wouldn't exist. And I mean, we could have our own country without all this. I don't know. I don't know if there would have been another war in that 150-year period. I don't know, but
would you approve of that? Would you prefer just to have two different countries?
Absolutely. I think that's the only solution. There's no way. I don't see this working under the current system. We would need to split up. I'm all for splitting up.
Yeah, because it seems pretty radical down there. Like, people, they seem to start to just hate everything that the other side does, regardless of whether it's good or not, just because it's the other side.
There's a lot of support. There's a lot of support for secession in Texas, but even without secession, we can do things even within what we have today. Without that, gives us more autonomy. That gives us more ability. We don't have to officially secede. Just ignore the federal government, pretend it doesn't exist, and if it tries to enforce its rules that we think are not constitutional, we can go and arrest them. So basically, it's nullification. So you can have kind of like a de facto secession without actually fully seceding and making it a big controversial thing. I mean,
So are you worried at all about like the number of illegals and people from California moving into?
I was about to mention that. You know, you have sanctuary states, and like California is a sanctuary state,
Yeah.
cities and all that stuff. Well, they're able to get away with it. If they can get away with that, we can get away with stuff like banning gay marriage or banning abortion or not allowing the Second Amendment, gun control, any federal gun control legislation or happen or anything like that. I mean, we can do stuff and we can ignore the federal government. And the Supreme Court makes a decision, well, we're not going to recognize that and we're not going to enforce that Supreme Court unconstitutional decision. So we can do things that just ignore. And I mean, especially on Trump's not going to go out and say, "Oh, we're going to put in federal troops. We're going to force you to do what we say," and blah blah. They're not going to do that either. So, and honestly, you just use the troops to just escalate the problem, make it worse. So, and make it more likely for violence. So, if we have the state behind us, I mean, we have a lot of Tea Party. Texas has more Tea Party control of like state government than any other state, so we're doing pretty good here. We just gotta win the House, and we made gains in knocking out the old speaker. So
nice.
Hi.
What up?
Welcome, Steph Nuggs.
Yeah.
Too late.
Joined with maybe like 5 minutes left.
Perhaps.
I think we're actually past time. Thank you so
Oh.
much.
It has been an hour.
Yeah. Well, I reckon we can pull it to a close. Anybody got like a closing remark?
Yeah, what do you think about the George Strait album?
The who?
The George Strait album?
I've heard it mentioned. I don't know any details. Is it actually released yet?
I don't know if it's
it came out. Came out Friday. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Okay.
all the singles have been on Vivo, I think, but they're really good, honestly.
I listened to it straight through the first time.
If you can send me a link of that,
It ends on like a really cool. It ends on a cool song. Like it's a perfect song to end the album. It's awesome.
Really?
Well, if you can send me a link on that, I'd like to listen.
Yep.
Yeah, throw us all a link. I'm gonna put it in the video.
I can try and find it.
The whole album.
Yeah.
I don't remember where it's
don't you have to, like,
our podcast.
You don't have a link to download the album or something?
Well, you have to pay for the album, right? How else are making money, right? So,
Yeah, I mean, I've got it on
Theoretically.
Spotify.
okay, is it on Spotify? So it's available for free then?
Well,
If you have Spotify, yeah.
the way that you
I'm sure you'll be able to
Spotify,
find
it's just it plays advertisements, so that's how you pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just usually listen to music on Pandora. I don't think it would be on Pandora by now. Maybe.
I don't know how Pandora works, but
Yeah.
so I can't comment. But anybody else got anything?
Nope.
SoundCloud says
Nope,
probably-
nope. All right. We actually managed to not just talk about shit the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Once.
it's
That was
kind of like
crazy.
an actual podcast.
Yeah, so thanks
And we
for...
didn't make Jebrim dip.
Yeah, we didn't make Jebrim leave after 5 minutes, like we
No.
kind of thought might happen.
No,
I'm
But,
here. I'm still
Jebrim's
here.
a real lad. I think.
Yeah, big thanks for coming on. It was very interesting. Yeah, cool.
Welcome whenever you want.
Welcome anytime, Jebrim.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Alrighty. Well,
Well,
this
take
has
it
been
easy.
the OSG podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Good show.
Adios.
Adios.
Bye.